What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're checking out a title called The Foretold Westmark Legacy. I actually don't know if this really counts as an indie game because it's by Critivo, and this game did not grab me at first. This was a game that I had to play through the demo like twice before it clicked for me on the first run, but I messed up so much things on the first run, not really understanding what I was doing, that the second run went much, much better once I actually understood what the game was going for. This is a bit of a weirdie. This is a hard game to classify in terms of like what it is. So on one level, it's kind of a narrative RPG. You are a character that's been summoned to kind of an Eldritch Lovecraftian area to settle the estate of a deceased family member. And along the way, you find out this place is not a very nice place. It's full of things that want to eat you, consume you, and annihilate you. The combat itself is also really hard to describe because it's not necessarily like a deck building combat. It's not really like a slide puzzle combat. It's basically like arithmancy. Like it's really hard to describe. You'll get once I explain the game to you and I show it to you, you'll understand it completely. It makes sense very, very quickly once it clicks. But The Foretold kind of surprised me, and I really like novel games that have like some interesting ideas in there. And the game is voice acted very well. The art style is done very well. It looks great. The animation looks solid. So we're going to play on through and see if we can beat the demo here today. And hopefully it gives you something to wet your whistle and you can decide whether or not this is a game that is for you. If you look down below in the description, I got a link for you down there. On top of that, you can also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream in case you wanted to hang out live. I would dearly love to have you. But let's check out The Foretold. Really, the problem with this game is that I have no idea how I'm going to title it, because this game is drawing from so many different like genres and angles that it's very, very difficult to decide what the ultimate title for this game is going to be. But shh, it's time for cinematic. Shh.
Who would have thought? My luck turning for the worse. Seems hereditary at this point. Hopefully, summons issued by the lawyer won't take too long. Lawyers. Wretched scoundrels. But the more I think about it, the more predictable it becomes. Being surprised was the last emotion I felt at the news. The one and only Westmark. A title I now bear. I guess it's my duty to survive now, no matter how distorted that burden may be.
So here we are on the world map. There's a number of things that you can interact with, and I get the feeling that this is kind of like hacked together real fast to make the demo work. There are a number of like quality of life things and also just presentational things that would make the map and kind of navigation of the various menus a little bit better. But as they sit right now, they are fully implemented and they feel all right. So we've been summoned by this lawyer in order to settle the estate of a deceased family member. Inside these tabs, you've got your persona. This is basically how you level up. You can go with your mind, your body, and your soul. I'm hoping that this gets a little bit more fleshed out. I'm guessing that this is going to be a lot larger and a lot bigger in the final game. But for right now, you get to make 4 choices throughout the course of the demo. Each time you level up, you get to pick from one of these 3 trees, and then it moves to the right, and then you pick from the next column. It moves to the right. You pick from the next column when you level up again. And so anyways, you can decide if you want to be like a mind master, if you want to be like a brawler, or if you wanted to be someone that uses a lot of magic and a lot of necromancy and things like that to defeat the enemy. We've got our deck over here. It calls it a deck, and I guess if you think about it, it is a deck, but I'll explain how the combat system works once we actually get there, because it's a thinker. It surprised me. I like the combat system quite a bit. So we've got a couple of things we can take a look at. One really nice presentational thing with this game is every single time you interact with a node or you move to a location, it gives you this little bar here and it's animated. And as your character has conversations with people and whatnot, the animation that takes place in this little right space actually like changes to match up with whatever they're saying. So right now we're rolling in the carriage and we need to investigate the invitation that we got.
When this letter arrived, I believed it to be a poor joke to rile me up. Shove the recent death of my mother back into my face. I was right in some twisted way. On my father's side of the family, a nephew I never knew existed had disappeared and been declared dead. I had been named the heir of the Westmark fortune.
It is a disorienting feeling. I found out like a year ago that I have a cousin that I just never knew about because everybody just like hid it because it's like a big unpleasant corner of the family.
God, you are so gloomy. Grief is fine and all, but you didn't even know these people.
Ambrose, not now.
Fine. Just wanted to help out.
Oh yeah, did I mention that I've got a giant green Slimer ghost that hangs out on my shoulder that talks to me and nobody else can see it, but I'm definitely the good guy? I'm definitely completely and totally compos mentis. There is no question of this.
I suppose there is one good thing born from this tragedy. The family heirloom. Its safety is now my only priority. Been with the Westmarks for generations, and holding knowledge acquired through dedicated research.
Yes, and it would be helpful if you know how to interpret the damn thing. It's the book that got us into this situation.
Well, it doesn't help it being written in a dead language.
Whoa there!
Oh, for God's sake. This is the 5th time you've stopped. Do you really want to get paid the other half?
Nah, not it, sir. Yeah, I need to relieve myself, if you don't mind. Alright, won't take too long. Oh, not too long at all.
It's happening. The copious drink's finally getting to the man. It's a wonder why the driver did not stop earlier to relieve himself, or why I even took him up on the offer to guide me.
I mean, all of the carriage drivers were drunk.
The man was on the border between sobriety and complete inebriation when we met him at the pub. You get what you pay for. He should have been here by now.
I bet he just tipped over and fell asleep in the mud somewhere.
That sounds like trouble.
Sounds serious indeed. Better go and see what that was.
It's locked. You need to force it to open.
All right, so we get our first introduction to the combat system, and I'm going to try to go through it and explain to you how it works. I'm kind of dumb, so it took me a while to figure out exactly how this whole system functions. But basically, you draw a hand, and you have tiles that are also drawn, and they're put up here. Over on this side, you've got how many turns will transpire before the doorknob takes its action and applies armor to itself. And then you've got over here how long before our pocket knife deploys its attack against the doorknob. Now, the ultimate goal of this game is that every single item you can equip yourself with, and there are different items, there's knives, there's guns, there's magic books, there's bells, there's holy water, there's all kinds of things that you can take into combat, and you get to pick between them at the beginning of combat based on the strategy that you want to employ. But ultimately, what will happen is, if I was to bypass my turn right now, all of these tiles would move downwards. Your ultimate goal is to get enough tiles to stack up on each of these slots that they will add up to the number that is listed right here. That's the total goal. That's what you're going for. And every single time we do like 5 moves, whatever is locked in will contribute to our damage. The attack will go off. These 3 numbers will be randomized again. The tiles will be randomized again, and you try to do it over and over and over again. When I first started playing around with this, I was like, how is it even conceivably possible that you could actually get some of these numbers done? But if you look at the grid itself, it's just that the game is more of a thinker than I thought it would be. So we've got a 2 right there. Let's shift that to the right. And as you can see, it has moved down over to there now, and that's now been locked in. And as you can see, we are going to deal 1 damage when our turn goes off. However, it reduced our turns by 3 right there instead of by the amount that I thought it would. Either way, we can play around with... Let's pull this guy down because we're trying to get towards a 9. Actually, I guess I could pull this to the left. And that would give us the sum total of 9 right there, but our attack's about to go off. And so there it is. We attacked the door lock. This first combat is very, very uncompelling. I'm going to tell you that right now. When I was playing this, I was like, this combat system is dumb and I hate it. When you get further on into the game and the enemies start having their abilities that mess with the tiles or deal a bunch of damage to you or things like that, it actually, for a game where nothing happens until you tell something to happen, it can actually be really, really tense, where you'll sit here just doing nonstop numbers in your head being like, okay, so how can I need this much damage by the end of 3 more turns, and he's about to do this, and like you're trying to figure out what you can lock in. And I actually ended up liking the game quite a lot. So we don't really need to do anything right here, actually. I could cut this in half, like so. Yeah, it's skipping a whole bunch of turns for some reason. That's weird. We're not getting our full turn allocation. Do I have a drag down that I can play around with? I don't have a drag down, unfortunately. So I think we're only going to be able to lock in this one right here. But yeah, it just subtracted us by 3 turns instead of 1 turn. That's very, very odd. I could have made that whole thing work. If I cut this in half, because it rounds down when you cut things in half. And so we could have locked in 2 right there, but I think it deducts your turns because it's just trying to teach you the basics of figuring out how this whole thing goes. I do not have much to play with right here. I'm going to shift everything down. That time it deducted by 1. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something here. I need... If I shift left right here and we get lucky and I draw what I need, and I did draw what I needed, actually, we can shift this to the left. That'll go down to there. We could half it, but I don't think, actually, the half will take that down to 1. Yeah, I think I messed this one up. So on our next grid here, I'm going to shift everything to the right because I've got a -1 right there, so that'll lock that in. We're all good to go. And then we've got a total of 4 right there that we could play around with, but we've only got 1 turn till something happens. So instead, I'm going to shift that guy to the right. He's going to come down here and lock in, and we're going to deal 2 damage to the lock, which is enough to break the shield, and then get through there. So we've pretty much succeeded at this little challenge. There's not really much more we need to do, so I'm just going to bypass the turn. This should get us through the lock. There you go. And pretty much every single challenge in the game, from trying to read a book to picking a lock, to fighting with an enemy physically, is going to have that exact same system right there. And we've got Shimmer Water, a flask shining like sunlight, containing to be what seems to be a consecrated fluid. When you pick up equipment, this is going to be the stuff that I was talking about that changes the thresholds you're going for when trying to get your combos. So this guy has a lock-in goal of 24. That means that the sum of all the things we're shooting for will be 24 divided randomly amongst the slots. And so I tend to prefer things that have a lower goal. I found that when I played through the demo, I focused almost entirely on things that had lower goals, because if you have lower numbers like 4 and 5, it's much easier to lock those in than like 15s and 16s and whatnot, and there didn't seem to be too much benefit to locking in the higher numbers. We found some medical supplies. You also have usable items in here. Had we taken damage in that last fight, we could go ahead and use medical supplies on us. It would restore our health and knock that out. We now have a pocket knife. We also have Shimmer Water. I'm going to lock in the Shimmer Water real fast. Don't really care too much about the pocket knife. I'm pretty sure the pocket knife is only usable for like very, very specific challenges. But let's go back to the map and we will decide where we want to go.
What was his name? Tom? Tim? Something? Driver? Are you there? Oh, God, no. What? The man is torn to shreds. I've never seen such a brutal malevolence from an animal.
We rolled the dice and we failed,
The
unfortunately.
ground starts to spin. I tell myself to focus, but the body has a mind of its own.
I lost health from that, actually. Feels bad, but we did get a skill point, so that's pretty cool. So we've got ourselves a persona point. We can decide what we want to do. It looks like we can go with redraw. That will allow us to redraw our hand. That can be very, very useful, in fact. We'll get an extra redraw if we can go with double damage. So if we get 2 times the lock value in the highest value slot, you will add that same value to your total damage. That means if there's an 8 in there and we manage to get 16 weaseled on in, it will add 8 more damage. We can also go with life support. What life support does is it adds a tile that slides downwards that adds healing that can happen mid-combat. I'll probably go for another reroll, in all honesty. Another reroll feels solid to me.
Remember how we met?
My first magical incantation. It didn't go as planned.
It's the bane of my existence. I'm stuck around your neck because you made a mistake.
Come now, it was my first time.
That's no excuse. You tried to help that nice lady. What's her name? Penelope?
Patricia.
Excuse me, Patricia. You exorcised me, but instead of sending me home, you attached me to you. A simple spelling mistake. I feel so abused.
We will find a way to get you home. Kind of why I saved the transcript of the incantation. To be able to fix it.
By the way, now that you have gotten some things, maybe you should equip the Shimmer Water Flask in the inventory, so...
I already did it. What's over here? Can I go back? Okay, so we can't go back. But we do have another point of interest down here. And then we've got another one on this side as well, which looks like it's going to be another combat, which I'm actually excited about.
I wonder if all this happens for a reason. As if all this needs to occur in order for me to become a better man, or whatever those wise men usually say.
Judging from my observations, you should be wise at this age, but you have a hard time learning from your mistakes.
Shh. Hear that?
You just want to get me quiet. I get it.
No. The birds, the wind. It all stopped.
We've been attacked by a giant rat tongue thing. All right, so we've got 3 turns to play around with here. Unfortunately, we drew really, really, really high numbers. So it's going to be tough to slap anything together. The good news is this will resolve itself right here. The bad news is this 8 and this 9 on the side is just flatly not going to happen in 3 turns. That's just the truth of the matter, especially when we didn't draw any combos. So what I will do... I actually don't think there's anything I can do, so we'll just bypass a turn right there, and we'll start letting things get slotted in. I need a pull down is what I need. If we're going to do anything right here, I need a pull down. There's a pull down. Perfect. Pull down worked. We shift this guy to the left to get our 8 right there, and actually we managed to make lemonade on that one. I'm pretty happy with it. That was a bad situation, and we kind of got ourselves out of it, so we're about to deal 10 damage. Now, I don't know if I can get the 9 put together. I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't really have a combine that I can play anywhere. A combine grabs everything adjacent to the spot that you put it on and combines the numbers together. We don't really have any adjacencies right now, though, so I think I'm just going to let her ride. There's our 10 damage. Half of his HP gone. He's going to attack us after our next move, and it looks like we've got a 2. It looks like we've got a 12. Let me... So I can combine right here. That'll make a 9 for that spot. We take our 8 damage. The 2 is right there, but what I want is a -1 right there. You can also play the cards like a landmine, and when things slide down and hit the landmine, they'll get adjusted, and that should give us the 10 on the next turn. And then from there, I think the 12 is a lost cause. I don't believe we're going to get the 12. The good news is we conjured up enough damage to actually kill this guy. Actually, it looks like we got it. The 3 is going to slide down. Hey, we got a full success. We get that crazy damage. And so off and away goes the enemy with the cool explosive holy water animation. Now, the downside is that animation does not change based on what weapon you have equipped. At least, I think it changes based on the element that you're using, whether it's body, mind, or soul. And I think most of the weapons they give you in this tutorial are soul, and so I don't actually know. But anyways, it would be nice if that little explosion animation right there changed colors to match up with the major color motif of whatever item it is you are using. So the shimmer water is like yellow, so when that explosion goes off and kills the giant rat, it'd be cool if it was yellow to match up with the holy water we just used on him. We got some loot. We got the Summoning Bell. An old bell with an inscription. The barrier of bliss is granted for whom the bell tolls. We got shielding powder. That is a relic that I think gives us a shield at the beginning of fights. And then we've also got the lantern, which is an item that we can use in interactions and investigations to get better results. Let's go back to our inventory. I will throw the bell over there. The relic powder has already been applied, so that's good. All right, back to the map.
Bournemouth. Peculiar name for a peculiar town. Minuscule signs of life. The odd footsteps in the drying mud and hints of chimney smoke still hanging in the air appear to fade away. It's as if the people of this town don't wish to be known or found. Rare glimpses of the townsfolk send shivers down my spine. A few of them look as if they were plucked out of a grave, all scrawny and pale looking.
You better keep your distance from these people. They don't seem to be the friendly type.
The game is very well voice acted. In fact, I found the writing to actually be one of those things that I got immersed into as well. We've got two options right now. We can either level up or we can go down here and sleep. Being the min-maxer that I am, I'm going to level up because leveling up is awesome. We can get 15 health or we can get 10 shield and 5 health. We'll go for the shield. Why not? Shield sounds pretty cool.
The receptionist guided me through the hallways. I could tell a well-off lawyer works here, judging by the opulent decor. And that they could afford all this in a small town like Bournemouth is baffling.
He seems to be very proper indeed.
The receptionist told me to wait for Mr. Brooks in the office. So, here I am, waiting.
We can have a look through the trash.
I rummaged through letters and other random things in the bin. I hope to dig something up on this Cecil character. What I do find is a crumpled up paper with strange symbols. So I scribble it down for future reference.
Sorry for keeping you waiting. I've had quite a busy time lately. Welcome. Please, have a seat.
Of all the humans in your world that you've shown me, this one takes the prize. He looks like a chump and smells of garlic.
You're a long way from home, Herbert. Care for a drink?
Sure, why not?
Yes, thank you.
Herbert, remember your promise? We wouldn't want to go through what happened last year again.
On second thought, I think I'll pass.
So, you're here because you are the only living relative left on record. Well, due to the circumstances we found ourselves at, the time has passed since the event of Theodore being declared deceased has created some problems for us here at the office. We are looking at 4 years of no contact.
Excuse me, I don't really follow.
Oh, well, Theodore, your nephew, was declared missing for quite some time after the incident with the estate because no body was found.
Incident?
I suppose the letter didn't say anything about that, did it? Well, about 4 years ago, the estate was rumored to be dabbling in dark arts. I don't know much about you Westmarks, so I'm not the one to ask.
Right. I am growing older by the minute. What are we talking about here? Is it money? Do I get the estate?
Yes and no. I suggest once you sign the deed to go to the estate and have a look at what you want to do with the place. Any monetary gains left by the Westmarks here have been sorted by the bank, loans and whatnot. I took a small commission for writing up the deed, and so the remaining fortune is at $20.
You're telling me the entire remaining state of my family member after all of you ghouls got your hands on it is $20. I'm going to need an outside party here. This Bournemouth place seems like they're kind of playing around. Seems like they're messing with me.
The sleazy bastard tells me those numbers with a condescending tone and a smile I would like to crush barehanded. The travel expenses alone were more than that. I tell myself not to make a scene and just sign the darn papers.
That's what he's relying on. People like that are always relying on the fact that you have the good sense to not make a scene. That's why you just need to give into it and make one.
Ah, there we go. You can keep the pen. Oh, pleasure doing business with you. And if you have any questions, you can always come back to me.
He seems quite nice. We should check out that estate. Maybe we will find some answers as to what happened to your family and get some closure. Right?
Oh, and one more thing before I forget. Could you check on George by the Lighthouse? He owes me a visit, but I haven't heard back from him in quite a while.
Oh, I don't know.
There's barely anyone left in town to ask for help. You see, they will lose everything they own if they don't contact me soon.
I slowly nod my head in disbelief that I'm taking on a request when I've just been bamboozled out of a fortune.
Yeah, you don't seem to be playing this whole, real-life game very well, my man. It looks like we have a pen, which is a soul item now. I guess somebody's going to be like, hey, you got a pen later on in the gameplay. We're going to be like, oh, I do actually have a pen. I got it, in the first 5 minutes. So there's 2 different directions we can go in. Now, the downside to this is that it doesn't really give you a preview or a blurb of what's there. I would recommend they do that. So when you mouse over these, it'd be nice if a window opened up over here that basically just gave you some flavor text, like you decide to take a walk through the markets on your way to the lighthouse. Or, if you go this way, instead you cut past the well, a busy tavern on your left, so on and so forth, just to let you know what your character is doing. The lighthouse appears to be down this way, so we'll go downwards. Apparently there is a drunkard over here. All right, drunkard, out of my way. We're going to go ahead and we are going to run the shield bell because I like it. We got a halvesies right there. That's good because that'll cut that down to a 1. So we'll get our first lock-in on the first turn. We've got a 2 coming in right there. Takes us up to 5. This should add up nicely on its own. The other option is if I had a combine, I could combine these 2 and the 6 would lock in right there. But I do have a -1, so I'll take that right there. That'll take us down. I don't have a pull. I need a pull to get that down here where I want it. Damn. Give me a pull. There we go. I've been smashed with a bottle. It was about as painful as I expected it to be. We've got a 5 right there. I do have a shift right, so we'll move that over. 18 damage to the drunkard on the opening turn. Oh yeah, and I forgot. Every single time you take a turn, you can pick a different weapon if you want to. There's no reason for us to use the Shimmer Water Flask because the Shimmer Water Flask deals 1 less damage, has a higher lock-in goal, and also does not give me a shield. And I like having a shield. So anyways, the Shimmer Water is probably going to be more or less retired at this point. And we've got a 3 and a 5 right there. We can cut that in half. That'll give us... It rounds down on a 5, so that'll give us 5 right there. We've got an 8 on this side. Let it run. Because I can -1 you, and that'll give us a lock-in right there. The shield absorbed the bottle that he threw at us, so that's good. We avoided getting bottled here today. We've got a 5 right there. The 3 is up that way, so I would need a pull down to bring that where I want it to be. However, I can combine those right there. That'll shift that down. I don't have a shift right, oh, never mind. We vanquished him. See ya, buddy. Have fun. My magic bell trumps your bottle. Our loot, we got $2. We got a consumable hot tea. And then we also got some medical stuff that we don't really need to use because we've actually kind of been killing it lately. I could get a level up, but I'm going to go this way.
Hello.
Who might you be?
Not too many travelers in these parts. Are you alone?
Yes?
Guess so. Why?
Come closer, friend. I won't bite. I am a humble trader trying to make ends meet. For the rate of coin, I will let you purchase a card of mine. Wish to trade?
We can take a look. So we can get another shift right, we can get a shift left, or we can get a phase suspension. These are the only cards, as far as I can tell, that are available inside this demo that they gave out to content creators. Phase suspension is really good because it allows you to take a double turn without the timer going down. Yes. And so phase suspension is the good stuff.
I'll be seeing you two around.
Oh, he can see the ghost on my shoulder. Interesting.
I arrive at a seemingly broken stone bridge. This is simple. Either I take a leap of faith to get over the bridge, or drop down into water.
Do it. Yup!
Oh, phew. That was close.
Bravo! You cleared a gap of 2 feet.
Yes, I did. It looks like we can get last chance. You get 1 chance to get focus each time you attack. We've got effective displacement. When a card gets shifted left or right, you add 1 damage. We've also got shielding. I want the damage. Give me the damage. The damage sounds good.
A dusty and claustrophobic feeling creeps over me as I enter the silent hall. The place seems well stocked with literature for such a small town. Who knows what knowledge might be hiding here?
You humans and the desire to scribble thoughts down, I will never understand.
Search the bookshelves?
All books sit neatly stacked on the dusty shelves in an organized mess only the librarian could decipher. I stumble upon a strange contraption with symbols built into the bookshelf. I think I can use this note to crack the code.
Let's do it. Let's open the thing up. We'll just go with the bell. It's fine. We've only got to deal like 3 damage. It's going to take us like 1 turn to knock this out. So there you go. We shifted that to the right. I don't know if we got our +1 damage from like our little perk that we have going on. It's kind of hard to say. These other 2 numbers are kind of beefy, so like I don't know if we're going to be able to pull it together. But the 6 damage we got right there should force it open pretty quickly anyways. Yeah, there you go.
Aha! There we go. Ah, the dusty notes and old wrinkled documents are lying hidden in this secret compartment.
You humans and the desire to scribble thoughts down, I will never understand.
Oh, okay, so it's just a note over here. There are things that I'm looting along the way that allow us... Oh, look, bookshelf 862. Oh, the bookshelf is the... Okay, so we actually... I didn't have to read the note in my inventory. The character knew that we had the note. Nice. There's also a pedestal here.
A relic, which must be older than the town itself, rests upon a large pedestal at the far edge of the library. Nestled in the shadows, and seemingly unimportant. Lit, but still hardly legible, due to its no doubt old age. I lean in to take a closer peek.
We don't have an investigation kit.
It's caught up to me, and without the proper equipment, I won't be able to read it.
On my last playthrough, I did have the investigation kit, but I don't remember what it does.
Don't think there's much.
We could speak to the librarian, but she's got like a really, really long dialogue, and I'd prefer to just finish up the demo.
Ah, we meet again. Care for a new card?
I'm not against it. I'll take another phase suspension.
Pleasure. Goodbye.
A corrupted devotee. I would like to see a little bit more flavor on some of the combat, too. Like, the rest of the game is so dripping with atmosphere and ambience that it's odd that, like, when you go into the combat, it also does not have, like, descriptive things happening. This is an easy win right here. So that's a double lock-in instantly. 2 locks in. I think... I can combine right there. He just struck me for like a gazillion trillion damage. And then we -1 that right there. And that gives us 3 locks. I don't think we're going to get that one done, though. It doesn't feel like it's going to work out. So let's just send our 20 damage and get our shield up. We have 9 shield now. That's good. That should take the edge off the next hit. We'll go with the summoning bell one more time. And it looks like we've got an 11 and a 2. I need a shift. Unfortunate. We can make this work, though. We're just going to have to fiddle with it. So I can half that right there, and that gives us a lock. He's going to hit me for 2 damage. That's fine. I'll take the 2 damage. We've already got the 3 lined up where we want it to go. I've got a -1 right there to get that second lock. There's our third lock. Looking pretty good. Let's shift that to the right. I got another shift right, which actually allowed us to get a perfect combo off. 33 damage. Take it to the face. And like I said, this combat system is one of those things, like the first time I played through it, I just did not like it at all. I was like, this is slow and clunky. It's not. It actually plays about as rapidly as you catch on to it. And once you start noticing the arithmetic in between the cards and the sequence of which things are going to happen, you will start scoring perfect combos like left and right. It absolutely will happen. So we've got a 5, we've got a 7. That adds up on its own before we do our next attack. That adds up on its own. This guy over here and this 5 are kind of orphaned. But I think we just let it run. Like, this is going to resolve itself for the most part. I need a half so that I can get this third lock. Took a little bit of damage right there, but the shield ate it. We need to half that, but I've got redraws. I will play phase suspension. We actually don't really have anything that's making me super excited right now. I did get a half right there, which means I can set up the half as a booby trap since all halvings round down, and that should add up on that side too. And I think that's all we've got for right now. Well, maybe not. It says I've got another turn right here. I don't know why sometimes it deducts and sometimes it doesn't. Let's go. Can I get a combine right here? And then we just got to finish this guy off. Like, any amount of damage will do. We've got a 3. We've got... If I shift you to the... Do I have a left? I don't have a left. I need a left. As I say, give me a left. Rerolls, man. You gotta love them. That gives us 2 locks right there at the beginning. So that is good. I think we shift you over to the right to get the sequence going. That's a 6. That'll give me a 7, which gives me a 9. Rounds down to 4. Okay, I don't know exactly what I want to do here. I know what I can do. I go phase suspension. We go -1 right there with a shift left right there. And I think we should be in magic territory. Oh, it didn't shift down. Doesn't matter. We won the fight and we eliminated the cultist. But either way, I wanted to get the triple lock-in. Like, I felt like I deserved the triple lock-in for that move right there. That little 1-2-3 punch combo that I just pulled off. We found a field kit. It heals small wounds, apparently.
Delving deeper into the woods covers my surroundings in a veil of darkness. It feels as if a malevolent force lurks around every corner. I went on deeper, but won't be able to see where I'm headed in this darkness. Oh, God!
What in the world happened to him?
I do not know. This looks surreal, as if a plant grew out of the man, killed him from the inside out. Hello? Anybody out there? I have a bad feeling about this. A man is chopping a body with an axe next to a sparkling fireplace while spouting out gibberish. He suddenly stops and turns his head slowly towards me.
And that's the demo. I liked it. I thought it was really, really cool. I think the combat system is really unique. I don't think it's going to be for everybody, but the storytelling, the prose, the voice acting, the actual art style itself, all seems to be top-notch. Really, I think the success of this game is going to come down to how much depth they can add on into that little combat system, where different weapons will cause different abilities to kind of react differently. But honestly, I like it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun, and this is one of those types of games that I don't typically tend to enjoy. So, well done, developers. You've convinced me. I can't wait for the final release. The Foretold Westmark Legacy. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day, so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, The Foretold. Tomorrow, something else. I'll catch y'all later. Bye, folks.